Hello everyone, this is Chelsea from Those with Words. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my personal planner, which is in this plotter leather binder. I've been using this for all of this year as a personal planner and have been really enjoying it so far. So initially I was thinking about doing like a half year techo kaigi or planner lineup check-in, which I might actually still do that, but I did want to take some separate time to really talk about this personal planning system that I've been really, liking for a good while now. So, like I said, this is the Plotter leather binder, and this is actually the 5th anniversary edition in the Licio green leather. And because it is a 5th anniversary edition, there is a special quote that is embossed or debossed into the leather right here, and it says, "Creativity takes courage. Cheers to plotters who shape the future. 5th anniversary limited edition. Draw today, shape tomorrow." And from what I understand, the "Draw today, shape tomorrow" is like a slogan for the Plotter brand. So yeah, I really love this olive green color, which, if you know me, it is not a big shocker. I love this shade of green. And hopefully you can catch that on camera, but the leather is patinaing really nicely. So I've been using this consistently since it launched in October of 2022. So for the last 2 months of 2022, I used it more like a creative notebook. So I kept podcast notes and other ideas, brainstorm, things like that. And then once it became January 2023, I turned it into a personal planner with dated monthly and weekly pages. And I've been carrying it out with me whenever I do have a chance and I want to keep track of what I'm up to, or what are some of the to-dos for the day. So especially around the spine, you can kind of see the extra wear there, and I really love how the leather is aging so far. One other thing I wanted to briefly point out is I do have this band from Plotter, and right around it is this pin that I got from Traveler's Company USA, and I think I got this as like a freebie for one of my orders a long time ago. And instead of putting it on a tote or a pouch or something, I decided to just put it through, or like not through but around the leather band like this, and I really like how it looks. It's just been on there ever since. So let's go ahead and open it up. So when you open up the planner, these are really hard to miss. I've got some fun things to look at every time I open up my plotter. And this right here at the top is a Pokemon Cafe plastic coaster. So I got this from my recent trip to Japan when I went to Pokemon Cafe in Osaka. And if you order a drink at Pokemon Cafe, they usually give you a free coaster, and this is the design I got, which I was super excited about because this Pokemon is Smoliv, and it's from the newest mainline Pokemon games. And it's a little olive, and I really love this Pokemon. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. I want to put it in my plotter. Again, it's supposed to be a coaster, but it's like this thinner plastic material. So I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I decided to hole punch it with my hole punch, and I just like put it in here, and it's perfect now. It's like a little cover. And then right here is this little paper, which this is Plotter brand. I don't think this size is being sold at the moment in the United States, but friends gave me samples of these like tiny plotter papers, so I was able to get a few of these, and I used one of them to put my word of the year right in front of my planner. So it's grounded. That's my word of the year for 2023. And I decorated this at the very beginning, or like at the very end of 2022 / beginning of 2023. And I just really wanted to have this right in front with me. So that is the first two things that you see. And then this is a postcard from Jane the Crazy from Instagram. I'm also on YouTube. Jane is so inspirational, and I really enjoy her work. And so this is a postcard, as you can see, and I just punched some holes in it again, and I put that right here. And this says, the goal isn't to live forever, the goal is to create something that will. And I really love all the patches and stickers and all the flowers that she drew in. This I purchased actually from her Etsy shop. It's like her postcard set. So this is one of the postcards that was included, and I really loved it. So I have sent out a few of them to friends already, but for this one I decided to keep it for myself and punch it and use it as like a cover. This is the first section that where, you know, the dated pages really begin. This is the Plotter brand kind of like divider that I put here, and this one just says like planner, organizer, strategist, and so I thought this was really fitting for like the monthly and weekly sections. I'm gonna go ahead and show you April, even though that's already over, because, well, actually this way you can see, you know, a lot of the monthly things and things that actually happen. I've covered up some things because of privacy reasons, but I'm showing you as much as I can. And on here, I just keep like my rough schedule of things, you know, stuff that's coming up, important dates. You can see here, there's like a little pre-order thing here. We had our Words and Roses recording on, you know, these two Monday nights. And so I wrote that down. So I remember a couple like weekend plans here and there, as well as my YouTube videos that I managed to put out. Some spending in green with a green highlighter. These are my pay days. And so I just have, you know, a bunch of markers and things. And this is really useful for me to get like a, just like a quick month at a glance. I love using monthlies for planning. I haven't quite figured out how to use monthlies for creative journaling. So I don't actually have, you know, monthly spreads that I decorate a whole lot or anything like that. For the moment, at least. That might change in the future, never say never. But as of right now, in terms of planning, this works really well for me. And I have all of these tabs. These tabs are actually from Traveler's Company. And every year I do tend to buy their sticker set and tab set that comes with all of these. And I really, really enjoy these because they are pretty much indestructible. I have, you know, flipped through this how many times and they're as good as new. So I really, really like these tabs, and I have put them on the monthly pages here for my reference. And then in terms of my weekly pages, let's go ahead and flip to the other panda marker. Actually, these two pages are not usually in my weekly. It's just a very special occasion now that I'm realizing we're gonna go to IKEA on Saturday, my partner and I. And so before we go, I, you know, took a look at what we were gonna potentially buy, and like I wrote everything down. We measured some things together earlier this week, and then this is just like the notes section where I'm just gonna bring this with me and just like take notes on like, okay, like did we look at everything? Did we like anything, etc. But actually this is in here because it's timely and it's like right in between these two weekly pages. But I'm gonna take it out really quickly for now so I can show you how the weekly pages look like without these notes in there. There you go. And this is a leather bookmark, by the way. This was also part of the Plotter 5th anniversary release, and I got the bookmarks in many, many different colors, but this is like a really nice, like natural slash almost like a camel leather type of look, like a beige leather marker or bookmark. So I decided to just put that right there. But yeah, this is what it looks like. On the left hand side, you've got all the little time blocks and things and the dates. And then on the right hand side, it's just, you know, split in different lines, and you can do, you know, whatever you want to write here. For me, I strictly keep the right side for to-dos, and then the left side is for like appointments. Or you can see here, like sometimes I also use it for just like random things that happen throughout the week. And so it rained a whole lot on Tuesday, which was a little bit random for us. And so I wrote that down. Had an internet outage that morning, so I wrote that down. I sometimes track when I do go and work somewhere else, and so On Wednesday, I worked from a local coffee shop in the morning instead of working from home, so I wrote that down and things like that. And then usually at the very top of each week, on Monday, I'll have like a short list of incoming mail. And so just to keep track of, what I have ordered, what's already gotten here, etc. And then the right-hand side, like I said, I keep for strictly to-dos, and my to-dos can get kind of detailed and very specific, and that's because unless I write it that way, I don't remember. And so a lot of the ways that I use this planner is really for me to remember key things to do and for me to not forget stuff. And so that's why there's not a whole lot, if any. Actually, I think this page marker is the only decoration that you see on these pages. I know there are people out there who love decorating their everyday planners because if you're going to look at it every day, like why not make it cute and pretty, right? And I completely agree with that. I wish I could do that because it sounds so fun. But for me, I think when I have a lot of elements on the page, it's easy for me to get distracted. And so for me in my planner, unfortunately, it's just kind of, it's very plain. There's not a whole lot going on here. Like I said, this is my personal planner only. So for work, I do everything digitally. I manage my to-do lists in Notion and I manage my calendar on Google Calendar. I also have a personal Google Calendar that I use very often, but this is kind of like a supplement to that because that's really only for like really key appointments and things, and I'll write them down here, and then the to-do lists are basically just analog. So that is how my brain functions in terms of like the monthly and weekly pages. And then actually in between the monthly and the weekly pages, I have this like daily folder. And so this is like a project manager tool. It's called Project Manager from Plotter. And I had it lettered by the director of Plotter at the San Francisco Pen Show last year. And I basically have a bunch of random stuff in here, very much the daily things. And so I have my goals for stationery spending this year, which is basically just spend at the big events and try not to spend on a lot of other things in between, which, it's going okay. We can talk about this in a separate video, perhaps in the future. I have a list of all of my unused / empty / new notebooks, and I started to make really good progress. This was about like right here before I went to Japan, and then it exploded. So I have a lot of empty inserts that I want to use up for the rest of this year and into the future. And then because it's never too early to think about next year's system, I'm kind of laughing at myself right now because it's only May. Like, why do I have so many detailed thoughts about 2024? But I was just brainstorming the other day and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I just wrote it down in case I forgot. And the good thing is the first one, it says personal planner, Plotter 5th anniversary. It's working well, so let's keep going. So I don't really see a whole lot of reasons for me to change out of this at this time. So those are just some of the things that I keep in the daily folder. And then this serves as a nice break in between the monthly and the weekly pages. Okay, so let's see, what else? So after all the weekly pages, I do have this band in the middle. I used to keep this at the very, very end, but I do like it a little bit more in the middle. I feel like it's a little bit more stable to like close the whole binder. So I do keep this in the middle. And then we go to the second section, which has another Plotter brand divider right here. This is just a paper divider. And this is like my creative section. So this section is where I keep all the things related to our podcast that I'm co-hosting with Miranda at Havoc Rose Writes, Words and Roses. And so this is sort of like a recurring to-do list for myself for the podcast. And then I have another Plotter project manager that I also got lettered by these are all lettered by the plotter director, and I got that done last year. And this one just says record, and all of the notes are in here. So like the random things that we run into, audio issues, any editing that we need to do, all the mentions of people and brands that we talk about during the episode recording. I write everything down episode by episode, and it's really, really helpful for me to refer back to these notes when I'm writing the captions and like the episode description. And here are some YouTube ideas. This is just a to-do refill, and I just have a bunch of ideas written down here, things I've already filmed and posted, things I want to film and talk about more in the future. And then in this little orange grid paper, this was also part of the 5th anniversary release for Plotter. I just have some other notes, like an editing software I want to try, and some like background music, royalty-free stuff that I want to research a little bit more in the future. So I have that written down. And then here are some blog topics, even though it's been a minute since I have written on my blog. And here's another project manager. This one is letter to creator, and I just have some like milestones and other notes in there about like, when, what Zoom should I use, and like all the, default audio settings and stuff like that for videos. And then the third and last section is basically just a miscellaneous section. There's not a whole lot here. Appropriately lettered MISC. It's just like, right now it's just recommendations. And then recommendations for anything like shows, food, and it's a pretty short list. I could probably actually fill this out more with what family and friends have told me. Like, like you'll have a conversation with someone and then they're like, oh yeah, like I went here and this place was super, super good. If you ever go there, you should check that out. Like that's kind of where I want to keep, all these notes. And so I could probably fill this out like a lot more if I really thought about it. And I just have some extra dot grid papers back here in case anything else comes up while I have this planner with me, and I can transfer it elsewhere if I need to, or if I can just, keep it here, that's fine too. So very, very simple third section there. And then this is the last thing that I have in here, which is a pen holder. And it sits like this at the very end, and I have Our Studio pen here. This is the gel pen, and so I don't have the original refill even actually. The refill that I have on here is the 0.4 Sarasa Mark-On, which I really, really enjoy because it dries really fast, and it's my go-to refill for planning in general. So that goes into that, and that's the end. We've just got this right here, which I forgot to explain at the beginning. This is a ring protector, also from Plotter. Basically, as you use your plotter, you fill it up with pages, your ring marks will eventually come out to the leather part, and the leather cover will eventually show signs of like where those rings are. And the ring protector, or this ring cover, really helps to delay that process a little bit. Not that I really mind that look. I really love like the weathered look of leather anyway, so it wouldn't really bother me, but I think just to have it here, it's like a really nice little luxury to have it here. So not necessary, I would say, but it's something I like to have. And that is pretty much it in terms of how I keep my planner. I do like to bring this out with me when I can. I don't always do that, but there are cases like this weekend, for example. I do have these IKEA lists, and I do want to bring it with me, and then I'll, I already have a pen in here. Let me actually put this back while I chat about this with you. But yeah, I already have a pen in here, and so what I'm basically gonna do is I'm just gonna keep the list in here and take notes. It'll just go in my tote bag. And what I really love about this system is you can kind of mix and match pages to however you need it. So for example, like this is like that perfect case where, you know, I don't always go to IKEA. I don't always have a list of things to look at there, but when I do, I can throw in some, you know, refills here, and I can just configure it to however I want it to. I also go through and archive my weekly pages once every month or so. So once April is done, I'll put aside April and then I'll put in the next month. So at one time, I usually have about like 3 months worth of weekly pages in my plotter, just so I can keep focused on the present, and then I look forward just a little bit. I've got all my monthly pages here anyway. So if there's something super important coming up, you know, 3 months from now or even like 6 months from now, I'll be able to see it here anyway. So for the weekly pages for personal planning, I like to keep about 3 weeks worth, and that's how I keep this thickness manageable for the plotter, because one of the things about the plotters is that the rings are actually not that big, right? They're really small, and that's what I love about this system, but that obviously means that you can't keep, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pages in here. And so that is personally how I manage with this system. But yeah, I think that's about it really this time. I said that last time. I was like, I think that's about it. And then I just kept talking. But if you have any questions about the system, you know, please let me know. I've really been enjoying it and it's been working really well for me. And I will continue to use it for the rest of this year, hopefully. And also just like even longer than that, hopefully in 2024, as I brainstormed so early in May of 2023. But yeah, I hope all of you are doing well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next time with another video. Take care. Bye.